Hello, dear friends. Welcome to another study of the magazine. Here we are, another week, another opportunity of gaining the knowledge that will empower us in this lifetime and prepare us for the teachings and the challenges and the trials that we have to undergo in this life and many other lives. So today we have a new issue of the magazine. It's issue 69 of the magazine. And we are going to remind everybody that you can visit spiritistmagazine.org, where you can find all of the issues of the magazine free of charge. Here is the page of the Spiritist magazine, spiritistmagazine.org. And through scrolling down, you can find all of the issues free of charge. You can find the link to download the app for the Spiritist magazine. And this is the app for the Spiritist magazine, where you can download all of the issues free of charge. Mine is downloading right at the moment. Once it opens, you can take it with you anywhere you go at all times of the day and night, and then you would be able to study the magazine. If you go to PDF download and click on issue 69, you can click on the go-to link and you will download the PDF version of the magazine into your computer, into your tablet, into your cell phone, so on and so forth. That way you also can use the Spiritist magazine this is how the Spiritist magazine looks on your devices. And of course it's a little glare because I am using my device, but as you see, and you can take advantage also of the Kardec radio app as well. So here you have many opportunities of learning. And today we have a message. I'm going to close this screen here so that I can open and share the PDF version of the magazine, which I downloaded earlier for our use. And the issue, here's the cover of the Spiritist magazine. Here are all the messages. And if you scroll down to page 24, you would come to the message that we're going to talk about today. Short, to the point, concise, and precise, just as you and I are in need today. So, dear friends, we are living on a planet of trials and expiations. If you go to chapter 3 of the Gospel according to Spiritism, the messages by St. Augustine are describing the different types of planets that exist in the world. Of course, it's a didactic view because there are many different types of planets. There are many types of spirits who live in those planets. And our planet is currently a planet of trials and expiations, undergoing planetary transition to reach a planet of regeneration. And everything that you're seeing today around us, especially here in the United States, are part of this planetary transition where things are happening. And once we are spiritists, we understand the behind the scenes of a planetary transition, the challenges, the trials, the many things we have to do. Just one second. So once we understand the challenges, how are we going through the process? What are the meaning of those events in our lives? We start questioning, right? We know you are an immortal soul. You live many lives. We reincarnate many lifetimes, as many as needed for progress on earth and elsewhere. And then we start questioning, what are the decisions that I'm making today that will help me rise above my tendency to stay attached to the physical? What do I mean by that? We go throughout our days, our spirits and our paraspiritual bodies connected to the physical body of the earth, where we are. And then every day we make decisions. We make, just as Kardec did. So today, as I record this, is April 15th. So on April 18th, 1857, Kardec published the Spirit's book. He made a decision back in 1850s, right, when the tables turning in France. He went to investigate the event, and he made a decision that he was going to go investigate. Once he realized the power of what he was observing, he made a systematic approach to the study on observations and conclusions, and that was gathered in the form of the books of the codification and the Spiritist magazine of his time. He made a decision. It took him a few minutes, maybe not 1 minute, to make the decision that changed the trajectory of the earth and the trajectory of our lives as Spiritists. So we need to be that courageous Spiritist that looks at this type of content, that learns from it, that is able to quote it and know of it, but feels it and also is able to apply it to our daily lives. So every single decision we make, we either lower our vibrational field to the things that are physical and sensual, or we detach a little bit more and get closer to the higher realms, the subtle matter, and progress, because that's your destiny, is to progress. So let's make a conserved effort to move and progress faster as we make the decisions that allow us to be more empowered. So this message is from the Spirit Valerium through the medium Francisco Candido Xavier. And they both also made a decision, right? Valerian made a decision and got authorization from the Christ to psychograph through Chico Xavier. And Chico Xavier himself made a decision to follow the Spiritist doctrine and his reincarnatory plan and the advices and counsels of his mentor, Emmanuel. He made a decision that brought to us over 500 books to study in this life and many other lives. So we are being asked with one more issue, one more article, to apply the teachings and to be courageous, to do the right thing, to go to the Spirit Center, to apply, to give, not to take, to not think just of me, mine, and my family, but for the community. We're going to need a lot of community in these turbulent times to go through this transition together and have the reattunement of our vibratory tones to the progress of Mother Earth that is evolving. So we need to match the vibratory attunement to stay, otherwise we will be invited to a different planet of trials and expiations elsewhere to start the journey from that point on. So today is an invitation for service, is an invitation for you and I to think of Kardec, the Spirit's book. We are also celebrating this year 160 years of the book Heaven and Hell by Allan Kardec. So many beautiful teachings that allow us to grow. So without further ado, 1 minute. So I'm going to make it larger so we can read. 1 minute. She says, in 1 minute, one can always do something useful. So friends, how many minutes do you spend with this device? This is my phone that I'm putting up as if you're just listening to this on audio. How many minutes are we spending scrolling, right? Notifications. So first thing, just go through your phone, your apps, right? I have many apps. So everybody has many apps. And do a time eval. And make sure that when your notifications are correct, that your media feed is triaged to show you the good, that you're still informed, but not reactive and desperate. And because he's saying here, 1 minute. So in the last minute, you've been doing good things. You've been here listening to the counsels of the good spirits. That's what we do every Tuesday night. So here are examples. Write a telegram. So there is actually an app today that's called Telegram, right? Back when Many of us were young. Telegram was a way to communicate for written word from a distant place to another distant place. Write a note, address an envelope, give a message by phone, and give information. Good, solid information, not fake information. So when you write or post on social media, you have that opportunity to do something that is useful. So before you text, writing a note in an envelope would be the equivalent of us texting, Snapchatting, Instagram, X, Blue Sky, Telegram, WhatsApp, Signal, right? There's many different ways that we communicate today, and we need to use those minutes carefully and appropriately to spread the good news of the Christ through the written word. Or maybe you can call someone. We need to be calling and talking to people. So every minute counts, friends. When we get to the spiritual realm, let's say we discarnate tomorrow. Well, we never know. Some of us do, but most of us don't. Am I going to find myself in a spiritual realm? In what kind of condition? What kind of regret will I have of not doing something? Usually people regret what they didn't do. Here we're thinking about how can we be mindful of the minutes we have left on this earth that can be productive. We'll probably regress the time we wasted on the apps that are not helpful, right? We can do so much good here. The Spiritist magazine, Kardec radio, we can do so many conveniences, but there's also ways to gamble, ways to waste time on social media, bullying, pornography. There's many ways to waste minutes also. So he's inviting us to use those minutes to the good. So next time you are texting something, making a message, reacting to something, let's pause and ask ourselves, is this true? Is it useful? Will it harm someone? And then we go from there. Wash a garment, it's okay. We need to care for the things that are physical. I care for the technology pieces that are around me, and we care for the spiritual center that I am currently physically in, the Spirit Society of Richmond. We care for things that include our garments, the things that clothe us and protect us from the elements. To offer a glass of milk, maybe you need to offer food to someone. If you have a family member, you can offer them a glass of nourishing milk, right? Plant milk, animal milk, so on and so forth. To greet somebody, this is the big one. Nowadays, we are developing this big curvature here on our spine and becoming this way, where we have pain. Because everywhere you go, people are like, nobody looks out. They expect people to get out of their way, even though they're swerving around, for example, the grocery store. We need to look out, take our minds and eyes off of the phones, tablet, look out and look for people. Look for those minutes where we can be useful, to greet somebody. Sometimes people are lonely. We don't know it's enough for us to smile and say, hi, how are you, and mean it. And they can feel the warmth of our greeting. To clean a piece of furniture, we need to care for the things around us. We get to clean, we get to wash, we get to have a house, we get to do chores. Those who have passed in the spiritual realm are working over there. But if I have the resources in this life, I need to be grateful and remind myself and my loved ones and my family we have those things. It's not a burden to do those things. In 1 minute, you can water a flower and provide beauty to the surroundings. If you have a bouquet of flowers to give to someone, do not despise the minute. So sometimes people tell me, oh, but I can't do everything. Like Jesus did all this. But Jesus is not asking us to be him. He's not asking you and I to do the grandeur things. Otherwise, he would have put us in charge of nations. He has put us in charge of ourselves, in charge of our family. We have jobs, people within our circle of influence. So we cannot start with the grand scheme. We have to start minute by minute, being faithful and grateful for the opportunity of being useful. These are just some examples for you and I to reflect upon. He says, use it well, my friend. So you are the friend of Valerium, the spirit. So every time you read anything from any author, you are connecting mind to that author. Did you know that? That comes from the book After Death by Leon Denis in chapter 49, Love. So when we are thinking and feeling about this, how can it be useful now? So the more you're mindful and useful in the moment, more the Spirit can inspire you to do even more. Because in a minute, you have just read the information of this page. Then, of course, if we had read the whole thing, you would be useful. So in a minute, maybe you can't read the whole book, but you can read a page, half a page, a paragraph. And then if you go minute by minute, we can do this calculation together, right? Public math can be difficult, but we'll do that. So we have 60 minutes in 1 hour, roughly 24 hours in a day. Let's go there. Times 60, thank God to the technology. So we have 1,440 minutes in a day, because there's 60 minutes in 24 hours. There are 30 days roughly in a month. Well, let's do the best. Let's do 1,440 times 365, because most years don't have 366, right? So we have 525,600 minutes in a year. Minute by minute, public math for us, and get me on the comments if I got it wrong. But 24 hours times 6 minutes times 365 days. So over 500,000 minutes. So many minutes that you and I can do the good in this world. And we start right now. And during this minute, we're going to thank Valerium for his service. We're going to thank Xavier for this beautiful book, Spiritist Ideal, not in English, but the messages are present in the Spiritist magazine. We thank Allan Kardec for publishing the Spirit's book in a few days, 3 days, right? And then we thank him for Heaven and Hell, for Genesis, for the Gospel according to Spiritist, for the Medium's book, the Spiritist magazine. We thank the many mediums who bring us these beautiful messages. We thank the mentors of the Spiritist magazine and Kardec Creator, and your mentor and my mentor, for inspiring us and protecting us to be here today. Dear friends, what a blessing to be with you. I hope that you join us next week. Meanwhile, join spiritistmagazine.org. Go join us on Facebook, Instagram. We have the Kardec Radio YouTube, where you're watching this, where we're always using every minute we can to share the good in many ways possible. Stay well, stay safe, and I hope to see you next week. Bye-bye.